on Take It Up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Sean Manni, who's the VP of Sales at Omnicell. Hi, Sean. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you very much for having me.
This health crisis that we're in, such a relevant topic for you to share your thoughts on what's happening in the healthcare, the innovation. I know Omnicell is a big player in providing that automated pharmacy, right? That dispenser that has a lot of technology behind it to monitor medicine. I wanted to get your thoughts on what trends are you seeing and what are some of the cool innovations taking place.
Yeah, so Omnicell's autonomous pharmacy solution offers workflow automation, data intelligence, and expert services that enable health system and hospital caregivers everywhere to focus on improving outcomes. And I think a lot of the data that's driven from that is important for hospitals and health systems. And as we started to move towards the current crisis we're in, I don't know if everybody recognized prior to this how important that data was, right? If you're a major health system in New York City, you knew how important it was to know how many doses of a specific medication you might need, but I don't think anybody anticipated the volume that was going to be expected 30 days out from the point where, you know, your entire ER and ICU is overloaded with patients. So the data to make intelligent decisions, I think, shot to the forefront. So a technology company like Omnicell that both houses and stores medications and is working towards that autonomous pharmacy, I think our place in this market became extremely, extremely important, and our obligation to our customers became more important.
Let's just make sure people understand the product. It's a dispenser that monitors what medicine is there and who has the right to access it and how many is being accessed, how many is being returned. And this is in real-time data, right? Are we talking about something is as big as, let's say, a rack of servers?
So let's start off in the pharmacy of the hospital itself. In the pharmacy, it might be something as big as the entire room you're in, maybe 10 foot by 15 foot by 10 feet tall. Imagine an entire robot that houses most of the medications for the hospital, and robotics will move and pick medications and pick and choose doses and scan them and make sure it's the right medication and what's the expiration date, what's the lot number, what's the serial number, and then get them prepared to be sent up to the floors where clinicians need them. The technology on the floors communicates seamlessly with that robot or that carousel in the central pharmacy. Once it gets to the floor, then it's exactly what you said. It would be a cabinet, maybe multiple different sizes, but think of it like an ATM, just a little bit taller, with a computer and then dispensing mechanisms inside there. And you log in with your fingerprint, so there's secure biometric access. All the electronic health record data would be there. So the patient's name, what medications are available to that patient. The clinician would only have access to the patient, to the medications that that patient is supposed to get. And then when he or she asks for those medications, it would either provide access to a bin where they sit or only dispense one at a time for the specific patient. So secured access, controlled, only giving what's needed, when it's needed, and where it's needed, with data going from the central pharmacy up to the floors.
I want to bring up a topic that's been in the mind of the American people a lot before COVID-19 hit us, was the opioid crisis, and how medicine was diverted for its intended use. What are you seeing in that situation, and how has your solution really helped address that problem?
Diversion is one of the biggest problems that any hospital or any health system has. I mean, we say all the time, I sit across the table from corporate directors of pharmacy or CPOs that basically say it's not a matter of if it's happening, it's that it's happening and what are we going to do about it. I think there's two different things that hospitals look at. Number one is capturing it after it happened to make sure that the right mechanisms are put in place and policies and procedures are updated, and then clinicians are given the opportunity to get better. And you need real-time data to be able to do that. And up until a couple of years ago, most companies didn't offer real-time data. Omnicell always has, and it's very, very important to know exactly what's happening in real time. So you need to have real-time data to know exactly what happened to every single medication. In theory, in the Omnicell autonomous pharmacy vision, every single medication should be an individual node on the network, and everything that happens with that medication, from where it was, when it was, every single time it was moved, all the data tied to that node should go with it. And when you treat it that way, you'll know every single clinician that accessed it and whether it ended up at the right patient at the right time every single time. So one is the importance of the data. But I don't know which is more important, but the other important part of it would be stopping diversion from happening in the first place. And how do you do that? Same thing with technology. Not giving access to 10 or 20 or 30 doses when only one is needed. So unit dose dispensing. Metal lids that control the ability to even get access to what medication is there instead of, in some situations, other types of bins. 20 years ago, if you walked into a hospital or health system, you would see what was called open matrix drawers or bins, which is basically if you got access to a drawer and it opened up from the equipment, that there would be, 20 doses in each bin left and right, and somebody could theoretically just grab what they need. More and more so because of the opioid crisis and diversion knowledge, now every single medication is underneath some sort of a locking lid, which really, really helps.
Talk to us about some of the ways that people can trick the systems. Because, I think like the security situation in high tech, you may come up with security products and solutions, but the hackers will figure a new way to get in. How are you solving some of the new challenges you're facing in that situation?
Not so much hackers, but somebody who is interested in diverting will always get creative in how they find a way. So I think you have to stay one step ahead of it with the right technology, right? Number one, it's important. We have really good health system leaders that we partner with. So number one, it's having the right policies. It's the right process. Number two, it's having the right technology in place, limiting access to medications. Number three, it's having processes in place to make sure that the data and analytics are being reviewed every single day. And then you have to always audit to make sure that all that's happening. Omnicell does a really good job of partnering with health systems to make sure that best practices are in place, right? Is every single return of a narcotic witnessed? Is every single dispense witnessed? Are the counts witnessed? Are you following the right restock routes? And when narcotics are being loaded into the cabinet, are they being loaded unit dose dispensed or not? So we work together with health system partners every single day to make sure that all those things are up to the best available knowledge in the industry.
Yes, I think that you can put up safety approaches and all that, but I'm thinking, couldn't someone just take the medicine and then scan it, but then just consume it instead of giving it to the patient? And I do hear about hospitals that get raided by DEA's agents. Mm-hmm. So, this is real, right? It's happening now.
So, there's always going to be some area where somebody could do it, but what you end up looking at is, I think most of the time clinicians want to do the best thing and they try to do the best thing. And I think if a medication is dispensed when they go bedside, you have processes in place where whatever that bedside scanning system is, generally the electronic health record, you have to have seamless connections to the dispensing technology and the bedside technology so that everything dispensed is confirmed that it was scanned. Usually, I could be wrong, but I haven't seen a situation where it was scanned and then not given to the patient. But you would expect the patient to speak up in that situation. But if you have that closed loop capability where everything dispensed was brought to the patient and the exact number of doses were scanned and administered, and anything that was refused and not administered was brought back to the dispensing location and witnessed as a return, you have a lot of checks and balances inside there to make sure that the right thing's happening.
Ideally,
and those are not, go ahead.
Ideally, if you track it all the way to the consumption in the body, that really says, yes, that medicine is in this person. Yeah.
And so the hospitals have the 5 rights, and as a nurse or a clinician, when they administer medications, it is supposed to be scanned, immediately before consumption. It's not like the process goes where they scan it and then it sits bedside for several hours. It is not brought into the room to the patient until it's right before consumption, because that last scan is also checking, is this the right patient? Is this the right time? Is this the right dose? All of that is getting confirmed right before the administration.
What about dispensers for in-home, where a person who has to take a lot of medicine may need help in that remembering, did I take this, or what am I supposed to take today, and all that. Are you trying to automate for the home use too?
So not from a dispenser standpoint, but I think if you look across the world, there's a lot of different ways at which people can, what we're really talking about here is medication adherence, right? Did the patient take the medication? And a lot of times, I don't know about your parents, but I know my parents are on a lot of different doses. And it can be very, very confusing for somebody to remember, did I take my 10 o'clock meds? Did I take my 2 o'clock meds? So there's a lot of different ways that the market has come up for that. And I think one of the things that happens is, you know, if you go to one of the major pharmacies, you come out with the vials, and then you open up the medicine cabinet and there's a whole bunch of vials right there, and that creates confusion for folks. So there is other technology out there that Omnicell has now around medication adherence, and it might be a better process where when you pick up your medications, maybe it's in a blister pack, and maybe that blister pack is labeled on the time and the day at which you're supposed to pop open each one of those individual blisters. And maybe that makes it a lot easier for someone to remember what they're supposed to take and when they're supposed to take it. Major health systems right now are working on those types of partnerships where when you're discharged from the hospital, you know, your next 30 or so days of medications might be in a blister pack like that. And a lot of retail pharmacies we're also partnering with to make sure that, you know, patients are able to get their refills in that same mechanism.
Yeah, I can see the benefit of having IoT information that will maybe come to my smartphone and alert me, reminding me you have pills to take at this time, and then go to that dispenser machine in my bathroom and then look at to see, oh, what am I supposed to take? And it's automatically picking and choosing medicine to put out into a little cup or something, you know, where it reminds you, alert you on your smartphone, maybe the device that you're wearing, whatever it is, to then go and take the medicine.
Part of the innovation around the autonomous pharmacy vision that Omnicell is working towards includes a lot of that. We already have technologies in place with the retail pharmacies where we help them make those reminder calls to patients to refill their meds. And recently we came out with our Amazon Alexa integration. And I think the sky is the limit in terms of some of what you're talking about working to make it a lot easier for patients to remember to take their medications. I think medication adherence is one of the biggest problems that we're facing as a country in terms of, you know, healthcare.
And you have a large team of 100 people that you're managing during this COVID-19 situation. Are you able to actually go to hospitals and do sales calls, sales visits as usual, or are you also all working remotely?
For the most part, we're remote right now. We do have hospitals or health systems that have called us and asked us to come on site, and we kind of came out with a, if our employee feels comfortable and protected, we're providing protective equipment for them. And the health system or hospital is allowing it or requesting it, then we leave it up to the employee. Most of our engagements right now are virtual. We are trying to take advantage of more technology to make meaningful interaction with customers from a virtual environment in our sales process. But we are now starting to re-engage with more and more face-to-face interaction if the hospital wants it and is ready for that, and if our employee feels comfortable.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sean, for being on the show to talk about the innovation in healthcare and how your company, in particular Omnicell, is helping patients.
Thank you very much, Jessica.
There you have it. Check it out with Jessica Lee, Sean Manni from Omnicell.